Detroit Den 313. We're back. Stephen Will talking that Detroit Lions football. Before we get going, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and do not forget the bell icon so you don't miss any of our new content. Steve, what the heck are we talking about, man?
I just want to know, William, do you think the national media even watches Detroit Lions football? Do you think they know who the Detroit Lions are? I don't know. Did we not open up enough eyes last season? Because we're going to talk about this PFF ranking of the top 25 players under the age of 25.
I think obviously they know who we are.
I don't have many issues with this list. We're just keeping this Detroit Lions wise.
Yeah.
But I do have a question.
What you got, man?
I do have a question. My question is, listen, first and foremost, full disclaimer, because people take what we say and they really just spin it into a web of their own. We love our Detroit Lions, right? Well, that's what we're here for. We're here to talk Detroit Lions.
We are.
Detroit Lions football 24/7. That's why we want to be your go-to source. Sometimes you agree with us, sometimes you don't. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But here's my question, William. In these rankings, players under the age of 25, they have Amon-Ra St. Brown checking in at number 11.
Yeah.
My question is, they have Aidan Hutchinson at number 6. In my opinion, those should be flip-flopped. I think 11 and 6. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown has done enough to be a top 5 receiver in this league. Does that put him at number 6 overall on the under 25 list?
Steve, I absolutely positively love Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's an absolute beast, and I think that our team without amon-ra, we've seen it. It's not great. His impact is felt when he's gone. Although I don't think it's as bad as it was when he got banged up. I think it was 2 years ago now. And
game.
Our offense was absolutely non-existent.
We got shut out.
Yeah. So I don't think it's to that extent anymore. But he's obviously a huge impact on our offense. But I completely disagree.
Really?
Absolutely. Aidan Hutchinson. Well, I told you, and guys, feel free to hammer me, but this is how I feel, and this is how I look at football. Receivers just aren't that important. And I say that because a great receiver can touch the ball 10 times and have 100+ yards, but that's it. There's 50 football plays. There's sometimes 60, sometimes more, sometimes even more than that, depending on if you're going tempo and how you're playing the game. I can account for that most times, and especially if you're not a guy that is just dominant to where you command a double team. So that said, would I rather have a dominant edge rusher or a wide receiver? It's always going to be that dominant edge rusher. It's always going to be that dominant, impactful defender. So, not taking too much away from Amon-Ra St. Brown because I absolutely love him. I don't want to make it like I'm throwing shade at the guy because the dude's a monster and I love him and I'm thankful that he's a Detroit Lion. But when we're talking about football and importance of positions, that defensive end edge rush position is always going to trump that wide receiver position, even if we're talking about some of those marquee names. And those are the only ones that would even make me think twice. You would have to be talking about a Justin Jefferson or something like that before I would even bat an eye to think twice. But again, I still would go with my dominant edge rusher that is going to impact the game and wreck that opposite quarterback's day. So for me, I think they got it right as far as where Hutch sits ahead of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, if Amon-Ra St. Brown should be, I believe he's number 11 on the list. Should he be number 11? That's something that we can debate, but I think Hutch should be ahead of him.
I understand your logic. I agree to an extent. And like I said, Aidan Hutchinson is one of my favorite players to watch. When we're on defense, I'm pretty much locked into him. I'm watching what he does probably 90% of the time. I want to see Hutch, how he reacts, how he responds, what kind of moves he's putting on. Hey, it's 3rd and 6. What do you think Hutch is going to do here? Spin move, bull rush, rip move. Like there's a lot of different options. I don't think I got to be careful, Will. I got to be careful.
I kind of feel like I know where you're going. And yeah,
I know that this list is under the age of 25. Mm-hmm. But when I look at the difference of Amon-Ra St. Brown and Aidan Hutchinson, I can say confidently, regardless of age, Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top 5 receiver in this league. Hands down. Top 5, I don't care where you want to rank him. Anywhere 2 through 5 makes sense to me. He's not Justin Jefferson. He's the number 1. Obviously, I hate to say it because he's a Minnesota Viking. But when I look at Aidan Hutchinson, is he top 5 edge rusher? Not defensive end. I'm talking edge rusher. Overall in the league, regardless of age, I don't think he's there yet. I think he will be. I think this year, year 3, absolute statement year. How he finished the season last year made a statement, put a lot of people on notice because he was kind of, and I don't care that he wasn't very disruptive in some other meaningless game, not meaningless games, but games that were less important. But when we're getting into the nitty gritty of the season, week 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, throughout the playoffs, Aidan Hutchinson was a problem.
Yeah.
I think he's well on his way to being top 5 at his position. But as it sits today, I can't put him again as high as Max Crosby or Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, TJ Watt, like those types of guys. Not Jadeveon Clowney. I'm thinking of the guy from Garrett. I can't put him in that category yet. I swear on everything, I want him to be in that category. I think after this year, we can have that conversation. But as it sits right now, he's just a tad bit on the outside, but he's shown some very good promise. So this is not a bash Aidan Hutchinson episode at all. My favorite player on the Lions, Michigan made, Michigan man, Detroit Lion through and through. I'm telling you right now. But the difference is I can look at Amon-Ra St. Brown and I can say he's top 5 in his position, regardless of age, without a doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I get it, man. So I just want the people to make sure that they know. You said you hate Aidan Hutchinson.
So, I have 3 of his jerseys. I obviously fucking hate the guy. Right?
Obviously, I mean, you said he's like maybe top 25 players. Maybe I don't know. So at his position, I don't. That's what I heard. But anyways, no, I agree with you, man. But I do say I will say just to add to that. Although I do agree with you, I feel like Aidan was just a lot of times just missing, just letting QBs slip away, and he didn't have a lot of help. And from what I've seen out of him, first year, he looked like a puppy out there. Year 2, you've seen him improve. Year 3, as far as just photographs of the guy, he looks like a man.
Yoked.
Yeah. He looks like a man. So I'm interested to see if we're gonna see that year 3 improvement, man. That year 3 huge step forward. And if we do, man, lights out. I think you're dead on. He is gonna step into that marquee name that maybe potentially top 5, top 6, top 7 guys at that position. And I'm excited for it, man. So yet remains to be seen. But I do have one huge grievance about this list.
Talk to me.
Kyle Pitts is on this list, right?
Yeah,
and he's just
25.
He's just a name that sticks out to me, and he's done absolutely nothing. And Brian Branch isn't on this list. What are we doing here? Brian Branch isn't on this list, and we got Kyle Pitts on here. Stop it. The Detroit Lions should have 6 players on here, and Brian Branch should be on here.
I agree.
Kyle, there's no way. And that's just me spitballing, looking through the list because, he just happened to stand out to me as the last one on the list.
Number 25.
Number 25. But, man, I just can't see a world to where Brian Branch isn't on this list, man. It just absolutely blows my mind. And I know you had to justify some of these guys, but Kyle Pitts is one that stands out to me. He's done absolutely nothing. And I'm not saying that he's not going to eventually step into a major role with his mismatched abilities and so on and so forth, but it has not yet remained to be seen. But Brian Branch has impacted and made plays in this league. When Brian Branch is on the football field, you hear his name being called, you see him making plays, you see him getting interceptions and forcing fumbles. It is an absolute sin that he's not on this list.
I'm pretty sure Brian Branch had more touchdowns last year than Kyle Pitts, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you might.
I'm obviously fluffing that stat a little bit, but
you might be
am
right.
Am I
Kyle
far
Pitts
off?
have too?
Am I far off? Is the question, because Brian Branch had a pick 6 against Patrick Mahomes. That should count as at least 2. Not many people can pat their own back and say I got a pick 6 on Pat Mahomes. It's just something that doesn't happen too often. Was it a tipped pass? Yeah, I don't care. It was a touchdown. It counts. Yeah. So I absolutely agree. I think what the media sees is Brian Branch as just a nickel player. That's it. Hey, this guy's just a nickel. I will tell you that if you are not familiar with Brian Branch, and I had to give you one homework assignment to do, Atlanta Falcons game. Yeah. What he did to Bijan Robinson, who I want to talk about in just a second, that's what everyone was kind of worried about. Like that was early in the year. I think it was like week 3 or 4. everyone was kind of like, oh man, Bijan's going to come to town. He's going to torch the Lions. They give up a lot of big play. Blah, blah, blah. Heard it all. Brian Branch said, I'm shutting this guy down. End of story.
Yeah.
I remember a play at the end of the game where Brian Branch popped him so hard, cleanest tackle I've ever seen. The ref said something's got to be wrong here. I got to throw a flag. Like it was too violent. It was violent. I can't have a guy out here getting laid out. This has got to be a personal foul. Cleanest tackle I've ever seen in football. Just I don't know how you call that, but Brian Branch single-handedly on defense shut down one of the most explosive quote unquote rookies of last year and put him in his back pocket and made him irrelevant in that whole game.
Yeah, man, you're not wrong. And that leads me to my last grievance with this list. I'm sure I could probably find another one, but Bijan ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs.
How
is it? How? You know what I mean? What I don't understand. Are we talking about potential? I guess. Like, are we still at the NFL draft and what people were saying coming out of the draft, which was Jahmyr Gibbs was a second or third rounder? Like, are we still in that mindset? Did we not watch what happened last season? Jahmyr Gibbs is an absolute beast, and I think that he offers versatility, and I think that he's going to be another one that shows it on the field this year. That he's the better of the two running backs. He's the more versatile. He's the bigger home run hitter. I'm excited for him to show it on the field. But again, top 25. I think that Bijan is 16 and Gibbs is 21.
Yeah.
So
make it make sense, Will.
I don't understand. I don't understand it.
Now, if I were to put Bijan Robinson's stats and Jahmyr Gibbs' stats next to each other and blur out a picture of their face and you didn't know who was who, it's a landslide Jahmyr Gibbs. It's not even close. So what are we judging this off of? It's not production. Is it hype? Are you grading on that big of a curve that you have to take the Atlanta Falcons offense last year into equation where they had pretty much a homeless guy at quarterback? And like, that's the biggest factor for Kyle Pitts and Jahmyr Gibbs to not be ahead of Bijan Robinson on this list, because it makes no sense to me. Like, what are we talking about?
I didn't look at their numbers, so I'm not even sure what the numbers say exactly. I know at one point in the season, Jahmyr had him, but as far as numbers goes, but I'm just even looking at the two running backs and then watching those guys play, because I love running backs. I love watching them. So throughout the year, Bijan made some awesome plays, man, but down after down, game after game, it was Jahmyr Gibbs for me, man. He was the one, to me, when he had the ball in his hands, he looked like he could take it for a home run at any time. And that's not what I got from Bijan. Now, Bijan was productive, and Bijan was a guy who runs hard. He's hard to bring down, and he's exciting. But I didn't get that, if he didn't get tripped up right there, that could have been a 70-yard touchdown. So their careers will speak for themselves, man. But I think we got the better running back, and I think that it's only going to get better as we watch those guys this year and Jahmyr Gibbs gets into that passing game. Maybe you see him split out a little bit, and maybe you see him coming out of that backfield, touching the rock a little bit more.
I got the stats for you, Will. You interested?
I am.
Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm sorry, we'll start with Bijan Robinson. 214 carries, 976 yards, 4 touchdowns. Pretty sure I had more touchdowns.
Oh, well.
Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs, 182 carries, so a little more than 30 less carries, 945 yards, so only 30 less yards on 30 less carries, 10 touchdowns. Those are just the rushing stats. Yeah. Now, we're not here to bash Bijan. I think he's going to be a phenomenal back. Like I said, I just don't understand what PFF is grading this on. Are they really taking into effect that not the Carolina Panthers, that's a whole nother conversation. The Atlanta Falcons are just a putrid offense, no offensive line, no quarterback. Like, I don't understand. Is it that big of a curve to me? I just can't wrap my head around this, William.
Yeah. One thing that this thing PFF did get right is the number one guy.
Absolutely.
And that's hands down. It's Penei Sewell. And I think that if I'm starting a team, that's who I'm starting my team with. Outside of the quarterback position, I'm starting this team with Penei Sewell. So if I'm not drafting a quarterback, get me Penei. Just even what he does before the games. He's a guy that is I know people talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown being the heart and soul of this team, and that's great. I get it, but I don't believe that. I think that Penei Sewell is the heart and soul of the Detroit Lions. If you are a season ticket holder, or if you've been to one of these home games and you see what Penei's doing before every single game,
get the boys wound up.
He is getting them riled up. He's getting them motivated. He's getting them ready. He's speaking life to them. The guy has me wanting to run out there and get crushed.
Hey, can we go to a 55-man roster?
All right, what are we doing?
Get me some pads and a cold beer.
I will go out there and get planted for Penei Sewell. He's out there, man. He's get you fired up, man. If you listen to him, when I see those things, people post them on TikTok or Instagram or Twitter afterwards, and I see him, I'm like, whoa. Give me some shoulder pads, man. It's I love what he does, and I think that he is truly the heart and soul of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, that's probably the one thing PFF got right, because like I said, I can look at who's the best offensive lineman in the NFL, whether it's guard, center, tackle, right tackle, left tackle, if you want to differentiate. It's Penei Sewell all around. Doesn't matter. Best athlete, just a phenomenal specimen of a man. Yeah. Just absolutely unit. Honorable mention, Sam Laporte also made the list, but Sam's just quiet, man. Yep. Like he's just quiet. He's just going to go out, catch touchdowns over your head, run through you, juke you. You don't know what Sam's going to do. I don't have a problem with his ranking at 19. I mean, I personally think he should be a little higher for pretty much breaking almost every rookie tight end record last year. But, I think we're just kind of nitpicking at that point. He's in the top 25. So,
yeah. So I want to hear it in the comments, man. Guys, put it in the comments. Do you feel like this list is correct? Do you feel like they got number one right? Is Gibbs and Bijan in the right positions? Where should Hutch be? Where should St. Brown be? Like, what are your grievances? What do you like about the list? What should be changed, man? Put it in the comments and let's hear it. And I better see Brian Branch from a bunch of you guys, man. I'm going to be upset. Come on, let's go.
Or something close to Brian. Put his jersey number or something and we'll accept it. Yeah, leave it in the comments, hit that like button. If you're new here, stick around. Let us be your go-to source for Detroit Lions content. We'll be back later with another episode, guys.
Peace.